If you are planning or preparing to appear for your occupational English test, you are in the right place. But first, you must get to know about the speaking test criteria. If not, you could or you may end up scoring less marks. Just because you can speak good English doesn't necessarily mean that you can score a high grade in occupational English test. Some students try to by heart role plays and then apply them in any given speaking test. That doesn't necessarily work either. Your whole subtest, speaking subtest, is recorded and then is assessed by at least of a minimum of 2 OET assessors against the 9 speaking test criteria. And if you know well these 9 criteria, you can possibly score a high grade. The 9 criteria are divided into 2 different segments: linguistic and clinical communication criteria. So let's dive into that without any further ado. Linguistic criteria. It's all about how well you can handle English. They can be subdivided into intelligibility, fluency, appropriateness of language, and resources of grammar and expression. Alright, so let's talk about intelligibility. The impact of your pronunciation, intonation, and accent on how clearly your listener can hear and understand what you are saying. So the main 3 parts here are pronunciation, intonation, and accent. Also, how clearly you can be heard. So make sure you speak up, you are audible, okay? And your pronunciation, your accent, your intonation. So you may not be speaking British or American English, but whatever accent, pronunciation you have, make sure that you pronounce those words properly that can be easily understood. Talking about intonation, when you ask a question, there is a rise. How can I help you? Please do that. There is a fall. So make sure your words are easily understood. So that's all about intelligibility. You should be easily understood, audible. Your accent should be clear and should not be difficult to understand. Let's move on to the second one, fluency. The impact of the speed and smoothness of your speech on your listeners' understanding. You shouldn't be too fast that it is almost impossible to understand what you are saying. And you shouldn't be too slow either, draggy. For example, actually, I can help you with this. So a lot of gap is not good. You should be fluent enough. Keep a medium pace so that your listener can easily follow you, understand you. Do you get that? Next one. Appropriateness of language. The impact of your language, tone, and professionalism on your listeners' understanding and comfort. In OET or in any health setup, you should choose your vocabulary properly. Instead of "let me tell you what to do," you can say, "let me please explain to you the procedure." Your tone and professionalism. Okay, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. So the same word can be expressed in different ways. Make sure your tone is pleasant and not rude. Professionalism. Make sure that you handle your patient with respect, and whatever mood they are in, maybe the patient is angry or upset or sad, you should be able to handle them in a professional manner. Next one, resources of grammar and expression. The impact of your level of grammatical accuracy and vocabulary choices on your listeners' understanding. When it comes to OET or IELTS, whatever English test you are going to appear, you must first make sure that you have a solid grammar foundation. So you should be able to express your thoughts accurately without grammatical error. Okay, so let's move on to the next criteria. The second segment of occupational English test speaking criteria is clinical communication criteria. As I have mentioned earlier, just the ability to speak good English is not enough. You should be able to handle your patients well, how well you can understand them, how good are you in explaining, gathering information. Okay, so let's look into that. First one, relationship building. The impact of your choice of opening to the conversation and demonstration of empathy and respect on your listener's comfort. How you open up a conversation. For example, hi Bill, I am John, one of the registered nurses working here in this hospital. How may I help you? How can you open up a conversation? Secondly, empathy. The patient is going through a difficult time. They are explaining their story, and you should be able to empathize. And you can empathize by saying, I am so sorry to hear that. That might be really hard for you to go through such a terrible situation. I understand. It will be all right. So you can empathize with your patient. The patient is explaining their hard, difficult times. You just don't move into another topic. You should empathize. And another important one is respect. Patient may be opening up about their personal struggle, and you should not mock or laugh at the patient. So these things are very important and are checked in your occupational English test. Let's move on to the second one. Understanding and incorporating the patient's perspective. The impact of how fully you involve the patient in the conversation on your listener's understanding and comfort. This is another very important thing. For example, the patient is saying they are having stomachache continually. Then you can incorporate the patient's perspective by asking a question like this. Can you think of anything that may be triggering this stomach pain, or that may be causing this pain? Can you think of anything? The patient may say, yes, whenever I eat fried fish, I get this stomach ache. So you can proceed with that. So incorporating the patient's perspective in the role play, in your communication dialogue, is very important. So you are not a radio. It is not a monologue. It's a dialogue. You have to involve your patient in the conversation. Okay, that's very important. Hope you understand. Next one, providing structure. The impact of how you organize the information you provide and introduce new topics for discussion on your listener's understanding. This is quite simple to do. If you just stick with the task in the same order, one by one, new topics you can introduce. Okay, one topic is finished, you can move to the next topic easily. For example, okay, I understand. Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you have any issue with your stomach? So you are introducing a new topic. Just stick with the task. Follow the same order. Don't go to the last task and ask that task in the first place. First, second, third, and go to the last one. If you stick with that, you will be all right. Let's go to the next one. Information gathering. The impact of the type of questions you ask and how you listen to the responses on your listener's understanding. In some role plays, the patient may be shy or feeling embarrassed to talk about a certain situation, and you are asked to collect the information tactically. How you will do that? So you should use your skill. You can encourage the patient saying, please speak up. If you can explain it in detail, the doctor will be able to prepare a better care plan for you and provide better treatment. Please do not worry, I'm your friend. You can openly speak about that. Your information is absolutely confidential with us. It will not be shared with anybody. Please, come on, speak. Okay, is that it? Is there anything else? Is there anything else you can ask? So that's the ability to collect information. You have explained everything. Do you have any more concerns? So these are the questions that you can ask to make the patient speak. So your ability to collect information from the patient is vital in occupational English test. Let's move on to the last one. Information giving. The impact of how you provide information and check this information is being understood on your listeners' comfort and understanding. You shouldn't be giving all the information at once that the patient doesn't understand anything. Don't ask multiple questions at once. Give information one after the other. For example, you're giving information in an accurate manner, step by step. For example, first you will have to go through a CT scan tomorrow early morning. And secondly, if the test comes negative, you do not have to stay back in the hospital. You can be discharged the next day. But in case if the test comes positive, you will have to stay back for 1 more week. Do you understand? So that's important. You ask questions like, do you understand? Are you able to follow me? Do you want me to repeat? So that is the ability to give information step by step accurately and making sure that your listener is able to follow you, understand you. So congratulations, you have learned the 9 criteria against which your performance is assessed. Okay, so you can download these criteria from the Occupational English Test official website and study them, print them out and follow them. And when you practice your OET role play, compare your performance against these criteria and ask yourself, have I given all the information properly, one by one? Was I good in collecting the information? Did I treat the patient with respect? Did I show my empathy? And was I fluent? Was I dragging along? So ask yourself and improve your speaking skill. I hope you have enjoyed today's class. If you do, you can leave a thumbs up. If you are new to our channel, make sure you subscribe please and share with your friends. We will be uploading many more of these videos that will surely help you to score high grades in your occupational English test. So if you wish to be trained by me personally, you can do so. Personal training is available for students of OET. You can get the contact information from the description. The details are given as well in the description. Contact me. I will train you personally and make sure that you pass your OET with a high grade. Until we see you next time, take care. Bye-bye.